everybody, and welcome back to some more Minecraft Desync. It's not sick of Saturdays. When we last left off, we became dirt poor. Again. Who am I kidding? We're not dirt poor. So what's on our docket? We have the kind of the Great Hall next to the tree farm. We have... This seems like the Grand Meeting Council. Let's see, what else could we do? Really just need spots. Because we got worker housing over here. You know what? Let's continue with the worker housing. I need fences to continue that, but let's make some more worker housing. We get to be creative with our shapes and designs. Stone. Grab some slabs. We'll throw in some mossy in here. Don't need you. Definitely don't need you. Don't need you or you. And I will stock up on you, but I really don't need you either. Oh yeah, we probably should make some furnaces. And let us make a stack of ferni. Because why not? We're not doing anything else with this cobblestone. Make 500 ferni. Alright, so we got this kind of goofball here. The fact that it still alerts me while I'm streaming is quite annoying. This is a long room. Okay. This is a square with a sub-basement at there. Alright, alright. And... got some coal. Good. Always use more coal. That pick. Truly. This is amazing. Just mine it out without any without any movement. Just use your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind. Funny enough, we actually don't need to fill that in. We can use that. Let's go another batch out. Then we're gonna make a turn. Or 5. Alright, come on. Shut it off. That's enough out of you. Okay, so let's try and start using this coal vein for a spell of a house. I do have to keep in mind semblance. Do I not have any torches on me? Did I really burn through all that fast? Damn. Give me a stack of coal right now. I want to see. I want to fight. Actually, you know what? Let's do something different here. Let's not make a house right here. I had an idea. The nice little seating area. Yeah, that works. Okay, continuing on. I felt inspired. And you're just stupid long, right? Yeah. So I could... All houses, I think... Yeah, I have all the houses just start at the center point. This actually I can go 3 in before I run into this guy's house. This gives this guy a little bit more space. Ooh, actually, let's make this guy have a really large house. I have to go over here real quick and steal this guy's wall. This guy just has a really big house. Or big living quarters. This is a 7x7, so let's start with a 7x7 room. 5, 6, 7. Really large. Open. Not crammed. Why does he have this massive amount of space? I don't know. But he's a rich man, and he dug it out, and everybody has to dig out their own homes themselves, technically. So whoever lives here, they had a lot of time on their hands after work, or whatever you want to call it. Would dwarves even consider digging work? They're like bred to do it. They live for the mines. Okay. I need one of you. I had another idea. Public grilling in the halls. Okay, so we're gonna put a staircase right here. I think I forgot a step, but okay. This is the middle. 1, 2, 3. That has a lot of space. What could you possibly need all this space for? Family? I don't know, maybe a family. Family of 4? Or, oh, I could make barracks, a barrack type setup. These are the family houses. But if you're single, you don't get a section of the mine dedicated to a home until you get married. I don't know. Seems like a way to make sure the dwarves keep breeding. I don't know. I think the last time I was yapping about Yohannia, we got to like some British war. Toot. So, post 1900 Yohannia had some mild faults. It lost its empire, essentially, and was reduced to its core region. The core region could still do a lot, considering the Meiji style restoration to industrialize, I guess. Really lit a fire under all their asses. Then World War I came around, and in Britain wanting to fight German troops in German Africa, they used the Yohannia rail lines, which Yohannia fleeced the British Empire for as much gold as it could get its hands on to finance its own modernization program. Because it needed a way to do so. Could even give him a basement. Let's drop off this cobblestone, though. We're pretty full already. Gonna need a minecart to just push things. Really get that dwarven feel. Dirt. Rocks. Okay. Now where? So we got this big ass home. Seven by 7. 2 floor. Where was I? So goofy. I was... Then Yohannia continued, so the petrochemical industry kind of kept flowing into Lake Turkana, which leaves a very nasty mess if you know what Lake Turkana actually is. It's an endorheic lake. So your lake is kinda got nowhere to go, and it's very ill-advised to dump God knows how many chemicals into a lake that doesn't have a drainage point. You know, kind of makes sense, right? So Yohannia had to do a full cleanup project, and that was their kind of is their sort of Great Depression sort of cleanup effort. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we hit World War II. The Great War, with the one with the funny mustache man, and you know, the things that happened in it. I'm being facetious. But basically during all of that, why do you hate me so much? Fine, we'll do this a slab way. I'll make the long-ass goofy slab. Here, be better. So World War II, King Roderick took the throne in, I believe, 1924? After his father decided to kick the bucket. And he decided that the Yohannians had, and in general the Africans, had suffered for too long against imperialism. Decided the best course of action was to try and slaughter the British. Now, realistically speaking, an African nation industrializing and then going toe-to-toe with the British Empire is already really unrealistic. But there is a internal reason. When I was given Yohannia, I was told they wanted industrial warfare in Africa. Like, alright. Difficult, but we had so many new allied powers that we had no real Axis powers, so the people we had, technically, unless we gave them another front to kind of avoid, or have to actually deploy to, they were just going to get slaughtered. So, with the simple goal of industrial warfare in Africa, that's kind of what I came up with, is a king hell-bent on freeing his kin by any means necessary. And I mean any. I brought out all the stops for it in terms of war crimes. If you're familiar with, like, the Aswan Dam, no more. Gone. Obliterated. Reduced to scrap metal and concrete. And technically, that would be the Aswan Low Dam in today. So, blew that thing up. We hit them with good old chemical warfare. Absolutely brutal to any opponent. Because I wanted to make King Roderick. I had to basically create a state that was going to fight the British Empire. I needed a state. I either needed to lie, cheat, and steal my way into the most unrealistic thing possible, or I just make the king to be the most absolute madman to use any sort of advantage he can get his hands on. Mustard gas, congratulations. Zambia, you are now the prime target for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of shells of just awful warfare. So they fight. Yohannia gets. So they start. Yohannia starts by around Lake Victoria. The northern front goes all the way to Aswan, Egypt. That is where they were stopped. And I timed that to be in line with the Battle of Alamein, where the Desert Fox was stopped. There's technically a second battle that is ongoing at the same time by the Suez, thanks to the Turks, because AML's world has Big Greece go burr. So Turks are angry, and I couldn't play with the timeline too much, so Turkey went Axis, Greece went Allies as usual, so they technically got another Axis power. That way. Back to Yohannia. We had, after the grand old Battle of Aswan, the southern front was also active. So from Kenya to all the way to the border of Rhodesia is where I had the southern front stop. They got the Zambezi River is where they got stalled out. There's one that is a massive river. Good luck, for starters. Two, it was just an easy border that kind of like, yeah, that works. Then, what's Italian Africa doing? Not well. Basically, when Italy collapses, Yohannia just kind of assumes ownership of it, because it is just a lot easier to just say. I'm not entirely sure, because there actually is no way for Britain to actually get to stage the invasion of Ethiopia, because Yohannia is just kind of steamrolling them all away from it in every direction. So Italy just kind of gets to keep it for the whole war, as Yohannia just stacks bodies. And that's the southern front, and the Ethiopian front touched on why it's different. Then you have the Belgian Congo. The Belgian Congo is what I call the next great war crime. For starters, that's a lot of trees. So we had a lot of opportunistic construction companies taking a vested interest in harvesting any and all timber that they can get their hands on. So with like any and all timber, it's kind of a lot. So we had basically the whole kind of Congo line. Considering the location of the Congo also has like no rail lines, they also basically had to supply that front and to just make Belgium go away. They had to build rail infrastructure to connect it to Yohannia itself. So, a lot of... Is it the most realistic adventure of Africa? No. But it also wasn't supposed to be. I had requirements that I had to follow, and given the requirements I was told that it must occur, this was the best I came up with 3 years ago. If I were to go back and redo it, I can see a lot of changes I would have to make. Because there's no way that, one, Britain wouldn't have any amount of forces on the border with a nation that is clearly infuriated with it. So, we got that for starters. Then we also have the awkward sort of industrialization phase that would either have to happen earlier than I kind of let it to if they wanted to fight like this. Everything about them is just completely borrowed time. And then there's the demographic problem that I think is a problem, but anyone who's read my modding attempt that still technically exists, but I just kind of burned out on it. The ECMD stuff about how there are actually 5 different human subspecies, and once you realize this, everything else falls into place. And like and I just don't believe in equality is the other part. So anyway, that's all the time we have for this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to me ramble about Yohannia, and we will see you all in the next episode of Minecraft Desync Vanilla Edition. Bye bye.